All right. Welcome, everyone, to the first part in a series that I'll be doing where we will be building characters for different TTRPGs. I figured something like this would be beneficial not only to my own players, but also the community at large. So, as you can see here, we've got a number of colorful faces on the screen. I am currently in one of my Roll20 games, a private game that I have that I've labeled my Pathfinder character chest. Because sometimes when Darewolf is sitting here, not sure what to do with himself, he builds characters. Always builds them at level 1. Axel, I know you hate level 1 characters. You hate that whole experience. But, the good news is I like them. And I think a great place to start off is at the beginning. And the beginning is technically level 0 as an NPC, but we're not going to get that too micro there, as it were. We are going to jump into a level 1. So we're going to open our scene with really the scene that we see here before us. You approach a campfire. You see a number of colorful characters, a man not wearing a shirt with long black hair, his fists wrapped in heavy, tight bandages. He seems to be ever so slightly flexing them. To the right, another man, also not wearing a shirt. It seems to be a theme. He is currently holding in his hands this massive greatsword. Kind of looking at it from left to right, he looks up and gives you a sneer. In the backside, you see a man with a very smarmy look on his face. Looks like he knows more than everyone else, or at least likes to pretend he does. As well as two men wielding bows, one with a green hood pulled up over his face, another with a kind of smirky look, and he's holding in his left hand a cast iron skillet. But as you approach, a woman from the back approaches. She is wearing a golden headdress. She seems more interested in your arrival than she does, I suppose I would say, off-putting. As the two shirtless men, she approaches and she says, "Greetings, traveler. My name is Kira. Who are you?" And that, my friends, is what we're going to discover. We're going to discover who this new character is. We're going to discover who this new character is as Kira, our cleric of Paylor, or depending on the setting, our cleric of Sarenrae, has just asked us. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the very, very, very basics. We're going to be doing a Pathfinder first edition character. We're going to jump on over to the Pathfinder, the D20 PFSRD. What is great about this website is anything you need as far as Pathfinder First Edition is all available for free, which is amazing until they decide to take it down, on the Pathfinder, the D20 Pathfinder SRD, just D20 PFSRD. Everything you could need, including characters, races, classes, different feats, and different spells and abilities, even some third-party stuff. It gets super, super crazy up in here. Absolutely insane. But the good news is we're going to keep it super, super, super simple. So one of the first things I do when I start designing a character is I like to give myself a sticky note. I got a little sticky note right here. This is a sticky note where I'm going to be just taking some notes, jotting some things down so that I can have that information, and then I can dive right into actually filling the information into the Pathfinder character sheet. Now, the system that we're using today, again, is going to be Roll20. So this is Roll20 custom specific. And we're also going to be using the community Pathfinder character sheet. Now, this is a very intense, very, 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 very intense character sheet. I don't say that to scare you. There's a lot of different buttons, a lot of different things you can click on. I'm going to show you the ones step by step that I use when I'm building a character and that I encourage most of my players to use. With that being said, as I like to ramble on from time to time, we are going to dive right into building this character. So I decided today we're going to build a level 1 fighter, Quentin Q Generico. We're going to keep it super simple, but the steps that you're going to learn along the way here, these can be used for any character of any class. It's pretty straightforward. I'm going to try to keep it simple, concise, and to the point. So first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to bop over to the basics. And if you go right over here to the basics, this is just going to give you some basic ideas of what we're going to be working on. I'm actually going to jump down to the character creation outline. So first thing it says is get some dice, get a character sheet, do all that good stuff, all that other things. And then we're going to determine our ability scores. All right. Hey, Umbral, thank you so much for the subscription. I very much appreciate that. That's incredibly kind of you. And he is doing work. I'm going to work on doing this for at least a full year. You've been warmed. I really appreciate that, man. Every subscription helps, and everything goes right back to creating more content, but I digress. So first thing we're going to do is we've got to determine the ability scores. Now, there's two main ways of determining ability scores for a Pathfinder character. You can roll dice, And there's a couple different ways to roll those dice. And you can also do a point buy. For most of my players, for most of my games, I choose to do a point buy because it's simple. You get a certain number of points. You can input them into a calculator, and you can actually just pump out the stats that you're going to be using. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop over. We're going to go Pathfinder point buy. Boom. And the one that I like to use is actually the jodywhite.com. Should be the first one that you pop into. Super, super easy, super straightforward, super simple. And it's going to give you a couple of different starting. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get with your game master. And if you are using point buy, say, hey, what type of system are you doing? Low fantasy, standard, high, epic? They, she, her, he may have a custom amount that he's using. But most of your game masters you're going to run into, at least in my games, I'm usually going to go with either high, epic. I might do standard, depending if I want to really ratchet up the difficulty at the beginning. For this particular character, what we're going to do is we're just going to go with a standard 15-point buy. Okay, perfect. So we've picked our 15-point buy. The next thing, once I've determined how I am going to go ahead and actually prepare my stats, is I want to pick my race. I think picking the race is one of the... Talk with your GM. If they run below 20, get a new GM. All right. Axel said if they run below 20, get a new game master. So you know what? With that being said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to ratchet this up. We're going to ratchet this up a little bit. We're going to go ahead and ratchet this up. You know what we're going to do? Boom. We just did another phase in and phase out. I'm ratcheting up. We're picking epic. We're picking high fantasy because Axel said so. Axel said we got to pick high fantasy. We're going high fantasy. So the next thing you're going to want to do after you determine how you're going to be doing your stats, I personally like to go to race. There's multiple different races. And if you actually come right back over here, you're going to go to your little race button right here. Production value, that's right. So you've got a couple of different options. You've got your core races. Those are going to be like half-elves, dwarves, elves, gnomes, half-orcs, halflings, and humans. Those are considered your core races. They're the most common, the most prolific, at least in the Galorian or the Pathfinder setting. For our purposes, and Axel might hate me on this one, we are simply going to go with human. We're going to go with a simple, standard race, old, simple, old, what is it? Old, loyal, old, I don't know. We're going to go with them. All right. Tried and true. The human. All right. Quentin Q Generico, human cleric. Now, so what you're going to do is you're going to scroll down. It's going to give you a lot of descriptions. It's going to give you, your humans. It's going to say what they're like, physical descriptions, societies, relations. This is true for any race that you might pick. What we're going to do is we're going to scroll all the way down to the standard racial traits. The one that we're going to focus on first is going to be the ability score modifiers, okay? So as a human, we're going to get a +2. We're going to get a +2 to one of our traits. To one of our traits, or one of our, our ability scores, one of our ability scores, we are going to get a +2 to that. So I know I've picked human. Perfect. I'm going to pop back over to my point buy calculator, and then what we are going to be fair, human fighter gets... They do get so many feats. That's very true, Umbral. They get a lot of feats. So... what we're going to do is we're going to now build our character. Now, we are building a fighter. Now, by nature, fighters tend to be combatants, right? It's literally in their name. We're going to be building a melee fighter, meaning that we're going to be focusing on close combat. So one of the most important stats, one of the most important abilities you're going to have is your strength. That's what's going to determine your melee ability to hit, how well you swing your sword or axe, whatever it may be, as well as how much additional damage you're going to do above and beyond the damage of that particular weapon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly pump these stats in. I'm going to build them how I would build them. Obviously, as you experiment, you'll find what works best for you, what doesn't work. But we're going to build kind of maybe a little bit dumber guy. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out what's going on with him. But what we're going to do is, so I'm going to go over here. I'm going to pick my race. I've got human. Okay. And then I'm going to put my racial trait, which is that extra +2 bonus I get, into strength. So right off the rip, I'm starting with a 12 strength. Cool beans. All right. So let's do this. We're going to pop this up to a 16. We're making him super buff. And you know what? He's not very dexterous. He's all muscle, not very limber. He's not very limber. So we're actually going to knock this down to a 8. What's cool about that is if you go below 10, it actually gives you points back. So I want to show this to you. I have 10 points to spend. Bop that down to 8. He's not very dexterous, but I get an extra 2 points to spend on some other stuff. Now, he is pretty hardy, though. Constitution, that's going to be your HP or your hit point total, as well as your ability to overcome things like poisons and fatigue and things of that nature. So we're going to bop that up. I think that's going to be a 14. And you know what? prior to becoming a buff bodybuilder, our gentleman, he read some books. He likes books. He's also a little soft spoken, but he's very kind. He's very kind. So I'm gonna give him a 14 charisma. So he's not very dexterous. He's pretty hardy. He's got a 14, which is pretty good. He is decently smart. 10's considered like your average in the Pathfinder setting, and he's very charismatic though. He's very much like so he gets a lot of work. He's very good at speaking and selling himself as it is. So that's what we've got here. So we've got our 6T. So we look at our stats. So this is our points we put in. We got an 18, 8, 14, 12, 10, and a 14. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to pop over. We're going to pop on over. We're going to open up our new person. This is our character sheet. All right. Boom. Look at this bad boy. All right. So we got this character sheet here. We're going to pop over here. All right. Here's where things are getting a little crazy. All right. I have actually taken the courtesy here. And what I've done is I'm going to go in and I'm just going to click all the things. I'm going to show you what I would use if I was building a character. These are all the basic things that I would use. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to click simple attack template, simple spell template. If you had spells, fighters don't normally have spells, but I'm going to show you just a generic basic one. Buffs, we want to have this merged, so keep that the same. If you're using spells, you would click use as spells. Okay, if you have spell points, different classes do. Don't worry about that right now. Okay, I don't like to do separate lists for traits and feats and stuff. I like to keep everything under abilities. I'll show you that in a little bit. And then your encumbrance, pretty standard. Armor, shield, and load. Just keep that all the same. No big deal. You always want to update, okay? This is the Pathfinder community sheet, Umbral. This is the Pathfinder community sheet, all right? This is my favorite sheet. It's by far the most complex, but gives you the most utility, all right? You're going to update current HP when max XP changes. None of these other things are going to be, important. I also like to say public roles for everything, all right? That way the game master and your other players can see it, so you want to do that. And then generally, I like to click this right here, and I do background skills. Now, you're going to have to get with your game master, and probably Axel's going to say, hey, if you're not using background skills, you should get a new game master, right? But what you're going to have here, this is going to enable some background skills, which we'll get into later. But again, I'm going to go down this list. So simple attack template, simple spell template, all right? I like to go with the fantasy script, and I like to do the parchment background just because I think it looks kind of cool. Yeah, doesn't that look kind of cool? I think it looks kind of cool. All right. So I like to do the parchment background. You can customize that. Buff, you want them types and stacking, okay? Spells, we're going to say yes for your particular character if they have spells. I'm going to uncheck it for now, but you can check it if you have spells. Adjust damage based on size. We're going to say yes. And then we're also going to not auto-click. Make sure this is unclicked. Update current HP, all right? And then display different unchained skills backgrounds. And then I like to click this button because when you roll different abilities, it's going to give this cool little icon. And I personally think it's kind of cool. All right, you don't have to do that. You could go with none. You could actually find custom URLs to custom pictures if you want to. I'm going to go with the default ones for now. But that's the basic stuff that you're going to have. I also use hero points, so you can click that. And there it is. All right, so that's how you want your character sheet to be set up. Now, once you're done with that, you're going to go over, you're going to click the settings button, all right? Now, this is going to bring you to your character sheet. You've got a couple of different sections that we're going to be going into. The important one right now is going to be your core section. This is where we're going to start to enter in all of the information that we need to actually build this character out. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and enter the character stats, all right? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make this a little smaller, put this in our corner right here, okay? We're going to bop on over to our character sheet right here, pull that out, put that over here, make that go down. Here we go. Boom, we got that. And we got that. Perfect. So we're side by side. Perfect. Easy peasy. Don't you love Windows 10? All right, so now we're going to enter in our stats. These are our ability scores. So what we've got here is got an 18 for our strength. We got an 8 for our dex. 12 for our... 14 for our constitution, 12 for intelligence. Wisdom is going to be a 10, not the wisest guy, but he doesn't have to be wise. He's beautiful, he's fast talking, he's amazing, and we love him. We absolutely love him. So boom, our stats are entered. Now what's really cool is that this is going to auto-calculate your bonuses, also known as your modifiers, all right? Now a modifier is determined by taking your stat, your ability score, subtracting 10 and divided by 2. Yes, it's super convoluted. Great news is the character sheet does it for you. If you're doing this on your own, if you're using pen and paper, this also works for that. So just to understand how these are calculated, you take your base stat, whatever it may be. So let's say it was an 18 for strength. Subtract 10, divide by 2, and you always round down in Pathfinder. So if I had a 17, subtract 10, divide by 2, that's 3.5. The actual bonus would be 3.5 D&D. Sorry, I digress. The actual bonus would be a 3. All right, so again, take whatever the number is, subtract 10, divide by 2, and round down. Easy peasy. All right, so we've got our basic stats in there. Everything looks good. All right, so we're all there. We don't need our point by calculator anymore, so we're going to go ahead and close it out. Bye, point by calculator. We love you. You did a great job. And then we're going to bop back over to humans. All right, so we're going to bop back over here. And what I'm going to do to make this a little easier is I'm going to pop this window out, take this like that. We're going to make this a little bigger. All right. We're going to have our character sheet on the side. Perfect. Easy peasy. We can see both. We got some picture-in-picture going on here. Absolutely fantastic. All right, so we've got our ability scores done. Easy peasy. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bop on back down to standard racial traits. Okay, so size. Now, if you look in the top part of your character details, make sure you're in edit mode right now. Top part of character details, it gives a bunch of different information up here at the top. Age, race, etc. So for race, we'll put in human. For type, they are just humanoid. Very simple. Okay. Alignment. You know what? I'm not sure what alignment he is yet. I'm feeling like he's chaotic good. Alignments is going to determine, what your base character's disposition is. It's more of a role-playing thing, so it does have some in-game effects. It ranges from chaotic, neutral, to lawful as far as the different types, and then you've got good, neutral, and evil. All right, you could be any variation of it. You could be chaotic good, chaotic neutral, chaotic evil. You could be lawful good. It's a 9-box thing. It's a whole thing. We won't get into it too deeply. But what I'm going to do is I'm thinking that our character, this fighter, he's chaotic good. All right, he's all about doing the right thing and damn the consequences. He's going to do the right thing and he's going to be crazy about it. All right, he likes to do good things. That's our character on this one. So with that being said, then we've got default size. He is medium. All right, you look over here, size. They're medium creatures, no bonuses. Default size. Size, again, medium. All right. His age. I'm thinking that our fighter right now, something tells me he's a little younger. All right, he's a little younger. Now, adulthood for humans actually starts at 16 years. I don't think he's 16. I don't think he's basically a child, just like Josephine. Axel, that one's for you. I believe he is, let's say he's 19, all right? He's 19. He's still a bit of a whippersnapper, all right? But he's very buff. He's a little clumsy. He doesn't have a great dex, but he's doing all right. Now, what's really cool, too, is you can actually use the dice roller if you want to determine weight, if you want to determine height, things like that. So why don't we have a little bit of fun? Let's actually use the dice roller for this, all right? If you look at this, base height is 4.5 feet, and you can add plus 2d10 inches. So what we're going to do is we're going to bop over to the roll20 really quick. All right, we're going to go to our dice roller right here. All right, I'm going to do bracket, 2d10. All right, I got an 8. All right, so he is going to be, we've got 8. So let me pop back over to our character sheets here. So he is 4.5 inches plus 8. So he is 5'3". He's not that tall, if I'm being honest. Not that tall. He's 5'3". But you know what? He is just a Hulk, 5 foot, 3 inches. Not a very tall man. Not a very tall man. And then we've got 2d10 times 5. All right, so let's pop back over to our roll20. We got 2d10. All right. Oops, too many brackets. We're not perfect. Super professional game master. 13 times 5. That's 50. That is 65. No, 75? 65. There it is. 65. So let's pop back over to our character sheet to this. All right, so he is 85 plus 65. So he's 170 pounds of pure muscle. Pure muscle. 170 pounds, pure muscle. His eye color. Let's go with, you know what? I've got brown eyes. You know what? I was looking at female heights. So maybe our fighter is a female. Maybe she's a female. I don't know. We're gonna go with female now at this point. I think she's a female. All right. Boom. Yeah. Maybe he's trans. Maybe he's a male at birth. He identifies as a woman now. You know what? He found his true calling. That's where he is. There she is. They are. Maybe he's non-binary. All right. Boom. We don't judge. We're all good here. So with that being said, let's go over to eyes. So their eye color, there we go. Their eye color is going to be brown because I have brown eyes. And their hair color, let's go with brown because I also have brown hair. And we're going to keep it really simple. Brown. There we go. All right. Skin color. Let's see here. Can't stick with that because that might be considered offensive. Let's go with tan. Kind of like a dark, like a tan sun. Ooh. Sunswept? I don't know, tan? Caucasian? I don't know. We'll go with Caucasian, I guess. You know what? Hold on. Sun-kissed. That's it. Sun-kissed. Boom. Deity. So that's something that we could talk about later. Deity, I think we're going to go with agnostic. They know that the gods exist because it's a fantasy world and the gods exist, but they're not sure which one they want to worship. They haven't figured it out yet. They're still young. They're figuring themselves out. They're identifying. They're exploring their sexuality. They're figuring out who they are as a person. And this is where they're at. They're not really too concerned about the gods. They're concerned about being buff, being strong, and being true to themselves, I think, is where we're at, which is fantastic. So their homeland, I'm going to be a little cliche here. Those that know, Solaria is where they're from. Occupation is going to be unemployed. Currently. Unemployed currently. Vision will be sight, sound, hearing, languages. Currently at level 1, if you go down to languages, they speak common. They have a high intellect. They get extra languages. Okay. They are going to go with common. And I feel like they speak Elven. Don't know why. I feel like they speak Elven, and that's what we're going with. All right. That's what we're going with. Gender is going to be NB, non-binary. There it is. Boom. It's been determined by chat. This is where we're at. This is where we're at. And it's good. I like it. It's common and Elven. And no title or nickname yet. We don't have a title. We don't have a nickname. We also don't have a name for the character yet. We don't have a name for them yet, but we're going to get there. So fighter, okay, is going to be our class. So what we've done is we've gone through and we've filled out some pretty generic basic stuff. We have an idea of who they are. All right, they've got their catechid person. They're a little bit younger. They're 19, just a few years into adulthood. They've just started to explore who they are as a person. They're trying to figure out what life is all about, as it were. And they're very strong for their age, as well as very strong for their height. They pack a lot. They pack a lot, which I like. All right. So we've done all of our basic stuff. Now, we've gone over base speed, which we have. Okay, it's going to be down in speed. No big deal. We don't have to worry about that right now. But we're going to go down. We've got some feats and racial traits. So a couple cool things about being a human. You get an extra feat. Okay, feats are like special abilities. You're better at swinging a sword or a particular weapon or things like that. And for humans, you get a bonus one. Every character gets a feat at odd levels. So 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, etc. But what you've got here is you've got your first level feat. So we're going to start off with 1 feat for being a first level character. Okay. We're also going to start off with an extra feat, which is super cool, because we are a human. Yahoo. And you thought you only got 2 feats? Well, let me show you something pretty cool. We are going to bibbity bop over to the classes. You got a bunch of different classes. We're just going to pop over to fighter. All right. What's this? Fighters get a bonus feat at first level. Darewolf, are you telling me? And yes, I am telling you, Darewolf, that as a first level human fighter, they get 3 feats. Yeah, that's right. They get 3 feats. You're insane. I know I'm insane. I know I'm crazy. They've got all the feats in the world. Crazy amount of feats. But we're going to use them. And they're going to need them because they're a fighter. And they don't have any spells. They don't have any magic. They don't have an animal companion. They get feats. And they get a whole bunch of them, which would be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I'm super excited for them. And I'm excited to name them. I think we're going to name them last. But what we're going to do is we're going to bop over to the little sticky note. So things to remember. All right, +1 feat for human, +1 skill point per level for human. All right. All right. So now we're getting into some of the little bit more nitty gritty stuff. But what's really cool is that any class that you pick, you're going to have a level progression. It's going to tell you what numbers to put in to the different zones. Okay. So we're going to start with our first level. And all we're going to do is go to here and fill in all the information that corresponds with it. Now your BAB, that's going to be your base attack. And that is the basic of how good you are to swing with a weapon. All right, so a melee weapon or a ranged weapon, whatever it may be. This is just the inherent bonus you're going to get because you're a first level character of that particular class. This is what you get. So we're going to make this really simple. I'm going to go ahead and fill this information in. Okay, so we're at level 1. All right. We've got a hit die of D10. That is a 10-sided die. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to say hit die of 10. First level on a Pathfinder character, you start with maximum of your hit die. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and put in 10 here. Now, every time you take a level in your favorite class, which is generally your first class, you get to add either a +1 to hit points or give yourself +1 skill points. Now, here's what's really cool about a first level human fighter. Now, as a human, I automatically get a +1 skill point. Now, if I want to put some more points into skills, I give myself that favorite class to get a +2. I've now got a +2 per level versus a +1, and you can always switch that. What I think we're going to do, I think that this character, I think they are a pretty skillful person. They've already got a decent con. We don't really need to pump their con anymore, pump their HP anymore. We could always take some feats to increase that, like toughness later. I won't get too deep into that, but that's all good. I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to give them the favorite class bonus to skills. We're going to make her a little bit of a skill monkey. Make them a little bit of a skill monkey, which can be great. But let's go ahead here. So we've got BAB as a 1, skill points per level. Now what this is, you'll never have to update this. You're just going to go to skill points per level, 2+ intelligence modifier, super simple, 1, 2. That's going to auto-calculate, depending on what level you are, the number of skill points you have under the skills tab. And if you scroll back up, you can see there's a skills tab. We'll get to that eventually. We're not there yet, but that's going to update that as you move forward. Keep it super, super simple. All right. Then we're going to go over to our saves. Now saves are fort, reflex, and will. All right. Fort is against like poisons and status effects that would affect your physicality. A reflex is jumping out of the way of certain spells or a trap falling. It's how nimble you are. Unfortunately, they're not that nimble, so that's going to be not a good thing for them. And then will save is how well are you at holding your mind fast against someone trying to influence you with magic or to control you with some sort of spell or whatnot. Or how able you are to overcome fear as well would be another type of will save. So as the fighter, super, super fortable. They've got a lot of fortitude. 0-0 on everything else, which is unfortunate. But you know what? That's okay. So we're just going to put a 2 right here. Boom. So this is our base class and level information. Super simple. And then what's really nifty, if we bop down over to here, all right, you're going to see that this is going to auto-calculate our abilities. All right, so Constitution, everything. So every once in a while, you got to click recalculate, let the sheet recalculate. It's a very dense sheet, so they actually have a button at the top. If you notice that something on the character sheet is not calculating correctly, you can always go bop up to this little button right here, click recalculate. Usually will fix the problem. It reruns all the macros, etc. All right. So okay, we've got our fighter. We've got them. All right. We got our skill points put in. We got our base attack bonus put in. We got our fort save, all that good stuff. Sweet. Now, generally what I do, and again, we've done our ability scores first. We filled in all of our basic information for being a human. We picked a homeland. We did a bunch of this role-playing type stuff. We're going to focus a little bit more on some of the more mathematical aspects of the character right now, really the crunch of Pathfinder. I did a little slip there. But we're going to focus a little bit more on the actual crunch, okay? So what we've done, again, we've done our character details. So we started ability scores, did our character details. That was based off of the human race. Then we filled in all of our basic information for a fighter, which we got on our fighter progression, our little fighter table. Okay. Now what we're going to do next, the way that I like to do the character creation is I like to jump over to skills. I want to jump over to skills. I want to start filling those out. And I want to figure out, who is my character? What type of things did they focus on? Did they focus on diplomacy? Did they focus on being really good at climbing? Did they focus on some more of the knowledge things like dungeoneering, or are they an alchemist? Do they like to do a part-time alchemy? They have a profession that they may be out of work for right now. But we're going to find that information out here shortly. So you're going to go back to the top of the character sheet. We're going to bop over to skills. All right. Now, every class has what's called a favored, they have a list of them, favored class skills. They have favored skills, okay? What this means is for a favorite skill, the first time you put a skill point or a rank into that skill, you can automatic +3, all right? Every other one that is not favored, okay, not favored, you don't get that automatic +3. You can still put ranks into it as long as it's not something that has to be trained, all right? But you do not get the automatic +3. All right, so here we go. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go down our list. So we've got climb, class skill. Let's see. So we got climb. That's a class skill. We've got craft. Okay. Handle animal. All you're doing is check on the little button. We've got intimidate. Maybe they're kind of scary. Maybe they're really good at intimidating people. I don't know. I was imagining them as being very gregarious and very friendly. Maybe they're a little gruff because they're still trying to figure themselves out. And so they can be cordial, but they give off kind of a gruffness because they're used to trying to really like protect themselves because they've maybe been made fun of or something. I don't know. Just these are the things that I think about, but we'll get back to that in a moment. So that we've got knowledge engineering. So we got engineering. We got dungeoneering. Profession. Maybe they have a profession. I don't know. Perhaps. Go down to here. Profession. We've got ride. Maybe they were into equestrian stuff. Maybe they have a donkey that they like to ride. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Survival. Always a good one for, doing tracking or finding, food in the wilderness and whatnot. That's a good one. Maybe they're a wilderness survival person. And then swim. Maybe they were a swimmer. I don't know. We'll find out. Okay. So what we've got here, and we've got 2 background ranks, okay? And then we have 5 adventure ranks. 5 adventure ranks. And this is just the ranks that we get from just being a first level character. Super, super easy, all right? So let's bop on down here. And, all right, let's think about, now at first level, so at any level, the maximum ranks you can have in a skill is equal to your level. So at first level, how many? 1. Super simple. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, amazing. All right, so let's think about what they have focused on as they've grown up. When I'm thinking that this person, I'm thinking they spent a lot of time in trees. I'm thinking that as they were going through their self-discovery, as they were finding themselves out, as they were really starting to question who they were as a person, they spent a lot of time in contemplation. Mostly because being around the hustle and bustle of the busy farm. Let's say they grew up on a farm, all of their multiple siblings, I'm George, I'm going to be a farmer like father. And then the daughter was like, I'm going to marry the butcher. I don't know. Maybe that's what, and then this person was like, I don't know what I want. I don't know who I am. I don't even know if I'm in the right body. I don't know. So they spent a lot of time in trees. All right. So we're going to put 1 rank there. And what you'll notice, all right, so we put that first rank in, it actually jumps the rank up, okay, all the way to 11. All right, takes it all the way to 11, all right, which is fantastic. So, boom. And I think it's miscalculating right now. So we're going to recalculate here real quick. Boom. So what's happened here is it's taken the actual bonus to 8. So what it's done is it's taken our base rank of 1. It's added in the +3 for being a class skill. Okay, that's 4. And then it's taken our modifier, which for climb is based off, if you look over to the right-hand side, you'll see here that it has strength, okay? Strength, so it's added that +4 that we saw in our abilities. So that's gonna give us a +8. So when we roll this check, which you just click this little button, it will add a +8 to a D20 roll. Super simple. Everybody with me? Yes? Thumbs up from the audience? Okay, we're doing a great job. All right, so they spent a lot of time in trees. I also think this person likes to whittle, all right? So I'm gonna say woodworking. I think they do a little bit of woodworking on the side. They like to whittle, like to maybe make small furniture on the side. Maybe that's what they were training to do prior to really deciding they wanted to be a warrior. I don't want to be a farmer. I don't want to marry someone. I want to be an adventurer. All right, that's what this person decided. And you know what? They still have some of those skills from their past. They still have little bit of that woodworking. And what's cool is because we're using background skills, we get to take that. And I think profession. I think for profession, we're gonna jump down to profession. I'm thinking that they went with guard. They're a professional guard. They've done some guarding, some guard work, maybe some bouncing work, as it were, and what have you. I'm gonna go ahead and pop that right there. We got that. It's a little +4. What else we got here? And then I'm thinking learn it. I like linguistics because every rank you take in linguistics gives you +1 language, which is awesome. So we'll go back and add another language. I'm thinking they're a bit of a learned person. All right. And let's see what else we got here. Doesn't really like animals. Really steered clear of the whole farm thing. Steered clear of the whole farm thing. Not about that life, which is totally fine. I'm thinking that they went with... I'm going to say it. I think they got used to being a little gruff. I really do. So they're going to go +1 to the Intimidate. We've got 2 more ranks left. And you know what? I think they spent a lot of time reading. So they read a lot about some dungeoneering, some monsters and dungeons and whatnot, which is kind of cool. And also took a love of architecture. Maybe that's what they wanted to do. Maybe they wanted to be an architect, right? They wanted to build buildings. They were like, Father, I've always wanted to go to the city and see the large buildings and wondered how they put the stones together. And I've always thought I could build something beautiful. And Father was all, you're going to be a farmer. And that's who you'll be. And you're going to marry and have children and blah. And they were like, no, I want to be an architect. And then through a series of unfortunate events, this person did not become an architect. They became a warrior. Yeah, they were exactly, Umbral. They were gruff because they were unsure of themselves. Fully agree. Fully agree. All right, so let's pop over. We got all that done. So we got everything's total. That's all totaled up. That's all looking good. Okay, everything's good there. Everything looks good. All right, so perfect. We got our skills put in. All right, so we're going to bop back over to core. Make sure everything's looking good here. That's all looking correct. Absolutely fantastic. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to go back to our notes. All right, we got our +1 skill point. We just did skills. Now, we're going to start talking feats. All right, I'm not going to delve too deep into feats because there are a metric crap ton of them. All right, and when I say metric crap ton, I mean literal books upon books of feats. Now, don't let that scare you. All right, don't let that scare you. Most groups you're going to get with, especially if you end up playing with me sometime, #DareWolfDen. You can follow the link tree in the chat there. You can always follow it at the bottom. If you're watching the VOD, you can click on the link tree. Join our Discord server. We got a bunch of cool GMs. Axel's one of them. He's super awesome. Awesome. With that all being said, I'm going to keep this pretty simple. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to minimize this. I'm going to take our character sheet. I'm going to close it. I'm actually going to open it back up in our little role-playing thing here. All right. Now, what's really cool about the Pathfinder character sheet that we're using is it is integratable. It's integratable with the compendium. All right, it's integratable with the compendium, which is super sweet. All right, so we're going to bop over to abilities. Now, abilities tab is going to have a sub-tab. It's going to have a sub-tab that gives you class features, fates, traits, special abilities, things like that. We're going to pop right over. We did not add the language yet. I'm thinking about it, Axel. I haven't decided what language I want to add yet for the linguistics, all right? I haven't decided yet. We're going to get there. You know what? Okay, fine. We'll go back. The language, we're going to go with, you know what? Dwarven. Boom. There it is. This person speaks Dwarven. You know why? Because they work at bars, and dwarves own bars, because we're generic and a little specious, but that's all right. So with that being said, we're going to pop back over to abilities. We're going to go to feats. Now, when you click the plus button, it's just going to give you this generic kind of token little entry area right here, all right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick a couple feats. Super simple. Weapon focus. All right. I'm just going to pick weapon focus. Now, if you go to the character compendium, left-click hold, drag. What the heck? Did it just fill in all of the information for? Oh my God, this is fantastic. That is so simple. Look at it. It just, wha-bam, filled in this information, gives me a description of what it does. Super simple. And if I want to do more, click a little bonus. Let's go. We're going to go with cleave. Let's go with C-L-E-A. Is it cleave? Can I spell it? Yeah, I can spell it. Cleave. We're going to give this person cleave. Drag this over to here. Oh, my stars. It filled in cleave for us. This is amazing. I feel so happy. What about power attack? Oh my god. Boom, there it is. Hey, and it filled in power attack. All right, cool. So what's really neat is that it literally, you just drag and drop, fills in all of the information for these different feats, okay? Super, super easy. Super, super, super easy. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, as I like to say. We've got our 3 feats. So we had our first level feat for being just a first level character. We had our second feat for being a human. Then we had our third feat for being a fighter. So we got 3 feats, which is crazy. Most characters start off with 1. We're starting off with 4. We got weapon focus, cleave, and power attack. All right. Now, next thing that I like to do when I'm building a character at this point, so we've got our feats, we've got our skills. What we're going to do is we're going to go to the base abilities that this particular character gets. All right. So we're going to pop out our character sheet again. You click that little button in the corner. We're going to drag this down. Skadongle. We're going to zippity zap over here. We're going to pull this back up. Okay. So base abilities. Great news is, as a first level fighter, you don't have any basic abilities. You got nothing. You don't have any bonus abilities or anything. Now, a lot of your classes are going to have certain things they get at first level. So like a cleric might have channel energy, might have aura. You have a tab here that you can fill in those class features, and it's very similar. You can click plus. You can type in the name of the information. You can copy and paste the info right in there. Keep it simple. But like I said, for our first level character, our fighter, we're keeping things pretty simple. Now, what does every good adventurer need? What does every good adventurer need? You know what they need? They need some freaking gear. They need some gear. They absolutely need some gear. What is an adventurer without clothing, without armor, without weapons, etc.? Now, we're going to make this super simple. You're also right, Umbral. They do need to level up. They do level up, but we're not there yet. We haven't even gotten to that. Well, we are leveling up. We're leveling up some level 0 to level 1, which is perfect. Absolutely fantastic. So what we're going to do is we're going to bop over. I always personally like to start with a weapon. I like to build my character around a weapon, especially if I'm playing a fighter. What is the weapon? They can obviously have more than one weapon. Well, what's the weapon that they've chosen? So here's what I'm thinking. This person, they have a sword. All right, they have a sword. I'm thinking sword. I'm thinking longsword. Call me generic. Call me a little cliche, but I'm thinking longsword. All right, I'm thinking longsword. Longsword. All right, skadoosh. All right, longsword. Bammo. Longsword. It's a pretty standard weapon, just a big old sword. What I like about the longsword is it's versatile. You can use it one-handed, or you can use it two-handed, right? You can use it two-handed, you get a little extra bonus damage. It's pretty fun. So I'm thinking, and call me crazy. You can call me crazy. But what I'm thinking is that they don't use a shield. They don't use a shield. They're still a little rash. They're still a little brash. They're younger, right? They've been very unsure of themselves, or a little gruff because they've been trying to figure out who they are as a human being, right? It's a difficult, complex situation. What I'm thinking is that this particular character, they use the sword two-handed, all right? So what we're going to do is we're actually going to add our first attack. I know, dun dun dun, drum roll please, first attack. So what we're going to do is we're going to start filling in the information for the attack, all right? Fourth, yes, they like pocket sand, Axel. That's absolutely correct. We're going to start filling in. So we're just going to name this longsword, okay? Don't have to worry about enchantment. This is what this means. It's not masterwork. It's just a generic longsword that they found on a body. Won't talk about how the body got killed. No big deal. It is what it is, all right? Now, equation. Now, we took a feat called weapon focus. Now, when you take weapon focus, you have to pick a weapon to focus on. When you do so, you get an automatic +1 to use with that weapon. So I'm going to say that we took weapon focus longsword. So under attack mods, to include that bonus, we're going to add a +1. This is coming from our weapon focus. Now the attack type. Swords are a melee weapon, so we'll drop down and click melee. What that's going to do is it's going to use our base attack plus the attack bonus plus our strength modifier. It's giving us a +6 to attack at first level. Not too shabby. All right, not too shabby. Our person here, they're actually pretty good. They're actually pretty competent at what they do. Now this is going to be versus AC, okay? 'Cause that's the attack. Now the crit range, you're going to come down to right here. Now what's cool about longswords is they are 19 to 20, which means a natural 20 is always a critical no matter what. 19 is a possible critical threat. If it would normally be a hit when you roll your d20, it also may critically hit the opponent as well. So we're taking our critical, we're going to make that a 19 to 20, okay? It's a ×2 weapon. damage dice. We are a medium-sized character like we saw on our human sheet. All right. We're going to add 1d8. Oops. Make that an 8. Okay. Now, we don't have any additional bonuses right now. We don't have any bonuses to damage. Our damage ability is going to be strength. All right. Strength is how we are dealing damage. And then the type of this is going to be slashing. All right. You look that right here. So I put S, slashing. All right. And reach is 0. It's a melee weapon. Has to be something, directly, etc. Something I do enjoy from Pathfinder, different size weapons. It is pretty cool. It is pretty cool. Different size weapons, you have more damage, less damage, etc. It's pretty sweet. All right, so this is our basic attack macro. All right, now what I'm going to do for you beautiful people at home is I'm actually going to take this, pop this out, minimize this, drag this over here. I'm going to show you what this looks like. So when I click this little button, oh, whoa! Whoa, new person rolled a 22 for their first attack roll. That, new person. Wow, you are very good with that longsword. I am highly impressed. Where did you learn? And then new person is going to tell them where they learned. He'd be like, well, my dad wanted me to be a farmer and also marry and have a bunch of babies, but I decided I wanted to be a fighter. And then Kira's like, that is impressive. You are a welcome member among the those gathered here, although I'm not sure what we are gathered here for. And then Kira wanders off and is confused as to why she's standing around a camp with a bunch of random people and Godfrey the Wizard, but I digress. All right, so with that all being said, again, we've got our attack roll. So this is our basic attack, and again, I'm going to try to keep this pretty simple. We've got a longsword. Now you can add additional weapons. Maybe they've got a crossbow or a bow or other things like that. Keep it super simple. But what we're going to do is we're just going to bop over. We're going to finish that. Let's go over to equipment. All right, what I'm going to do is we're going to add some armor. I know. You thought that they're just out there running around completely butt naked. Maybe, but they got armor over that naked body. All right, they got armor. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop down and we're going to do something just like we did. We're going to close this. We're going to maximize this. All right. We're going to open up new person. I'm going to bop over here. Now, something really cool about the armor as well with this character sheet, super simple. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to pick my armor. So I believe they didn't have a lot of money because they just started being an adventurer, right? But this particular character, I think they started off with some chainmail, all right? So I'm going to type in chain. I got chainmail, all right? I'm going to drag this chainmail right here. Holy schmolies, it just included all of the bonuses. Absolutely amazing. And then what you're going to want to do, right now, if you look at it, I pop over to defense, showing that I have a 9 AC. Ugh, yikes, 9 AC, not good. But I just gave myself some armor. Why is it working? Let me show you. Pop over here. When you have this armor, you have to click Set Armor. All right, you'll look right here. Boom. It's got my chainmail. Okay. Back of it. Boom, all the way up to a 15 AC. Skadongle. We got this going. Absolutely fantastic. Feeling alive. Feeling wonderful. All right. So cool beans, cool beans, cool beans. All right, so we got our core. Got all this information filled in. We got our stats, our abilities, fighter, HP, all that good stuff. Okay. We got our defenses filled in. We got our AC. We got our bonuses to that. We got our chainmail put on. We've got our longsword right here. Looks good. We got our abilities. We got our feats put in. Perfect. We got our skills ready to go. You know what? Let's you know what we're gonna do? You know what we're gonna do? I think we're gonna roll a let's roll an intimidate check. How do we do? 21 intimidate check. Wow. They are on fire. This person is scary. This person, not scary, just they're a little gruff because they've been through a lot. They're still confused about who they are. Now we're going to do, you know what a good character needs? This is pretty much a build character. Now, obviously, you're going to do things like you can give them a backpack, a bedroll, you can give them some mundane items. I really just wanted to focus on the core mechanics. This character's basically, it's ready to go. We could play it. We played adventure. We need a backstory. We need a little bit more information about who they are. Maybe some of the mundane items, like I said, a backpack, bedroll. They've got a journal that they keep information in. They've got a small ring that's cracked because it was their mother's and she ended up dying. And when she died, it really threw this person into kind of turmoil. That's why they end up leaving home. I don't know. I'm just thinking of some ideas. But with that all being said, let's give this person a name. Now, one of my favorite websites, you've seen it a couple times in the background, is the Fantasy Name generator, fantasy name generator. You've got all number of different name generators that you can choose from. Dungeons and Dragons, Elder Scrolls, Eve, Final Fantasy, Guild Wars. I mean, you've got League of Legends name generator, Lord of the Rings. I mean, really anything. We're going to be a little boring. We're going to go all the way down to the Pathfinder name generator. Pathfinder name generator. Here we are. Okay, boom. Now we're going to find, let's see, we got Undine, Goblin, Orc, Ifrit. We're going to go to humans. All right. Now they've got male names and they got female names. All right. Little binary. It's okay. We'll work with it. I think I'm going to go with a female name. All right. I think I'm going to go with a female name. That's what I'm going with. No. You know what? We're going to go with a male name. We're going to go with a male name. I'm going to click this a bunch of times. I'm going to look away. I'm not looking. All right. Jarpu Sagman. I'm not sure I like that. I'm not sure I like that. I like that. Ooh. Purdot. Maybe? Maybe? No, I don't like that either. Kurlok. Pulak. Maybe. We're going to do it one more time. We're going to do it one more time. We're not going to look. We're not looking. We're not looking. We're not looking. And whatever my finger lands on. Mouse. Uzmek. Uzmek Komlang. Uzmek. I like it. Uzmek Komlang. That is the name of our adventurer. Uzmek Komlang. All right. So Uzmek is right here. That feels a little neutral. Uzmek. I think that could go either way. They're still exploring their sexual identity, as it were. And you know what a good character needs as well? Good character needs some character art. Good character needs some character art. So let me actually go over here. I'm going to go over to my token sheet. And you can't see this right now. I know. I'm a terrible human being. Don't judge me. Bunch of NPCs. NPC pictures. What do we got here? Let's see. We got some of those guys. Got some of those dudes over there. Tokens. Let's go over some tokens. We got a bunch of tokens in here. How does this person look? How does this person look? We got so many options here. So many options. They have brown hair. So I need someone with brown hair. Someone with brown hair. So that's I've pigeonholed myself at this point. I've pigeonholed myself, which is unfortunate, but we're gonna work with it. We're gonna work with it. We're gonna work with it. You know, oh, this kind of looks like they have black hair, but I think we can work with it. I like this character art. You could also thank Axel for this one. This is our character. Boom. There they are. This is them. Looking good. I like it. They've got some tattoos that we didn't even know about that they've got on themselves. Feeling pretty good about themselves. You don't see the longsword, but this is like their casual attire. They're not currently in armor in this picture, which is totally fine. Totally fine. I think it looks good. And this is them. Now, something else that's really cool is you can add token borders, token background to your character. I've got a couple cool tokens, and you know what I'll end up doing is I'm gonna end up let's make a token for this character, because I gotta add them to the campsite, right? Kira's over here and she's like, hello person, how are you? It is nice to meet you. And that's where we're at. So we got Uzmek, and this person says, well, my name's Uzmek, welcome, please join us by the fire, the night is cold. And we've got to give them a background. So we go over here, file capture, pop over here. We're going to zoom in a little bit. I like this. Okay. I'm going to save this token. And okay. We're going to upload this. All right, we're going to give them a token here really quick. Hold on, it's uploading. And skadoosh. Grab this dude. Grab our new character. And skadongle. Uzmek has a character. Uzmek exists. They have a backstory that we will help flush out. And then you can always ask your game master to do some cool things like add HP as well as your AC to your bars, as it were. So now we can see it. And they approach, offers their hand. Kira takes it and says, welcome, and may your adventures be filled with glory and good food. And that, my friends, is the end of our quick little intro to Pathfinder 1st Edition character creation. Hopefully this was beneficial to you. Hopefully you felt like you learned something. If you are catching the VOD, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you do enjoy this type of content and would like to see more, dropping a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you have any questions. If you do, you can always hit me up on Discord, Darewolf hashtag 3671. You can also join the Darewolf Den. We're always looking for new players. We've got 5 incredible game masters that are running some games right now, above and beyond just myself. And it's fantastic. Axel can go make his own characters. Axel, you are a character. There it is. Got him again. But anyway, as I always say at the end of every stream, thank you so much to the players for playing. I guess that's myself. Thank you so much to the viewers for viewing. Thank you for the constant support. Thank you for the encouragement. And happy gaming, everybody. We'll catch you next time for the next episode of the Darewolf builds, I suppose we'll call this, or something like that. And as far as what system I'm messing with next time, Umbral, I'm not sure yet. I actually might go out to the community. I might ask them to tell me what system they'd like to see, and maybe we'll do a system that I've never done before, and we're going to learn together about how to build characters. That could be a lot of fun. So with that being said, thank you very much. Good night, and we'll catch you next time, and once again, happy gaming. Oh, don't forget to watch Darewolf Den Spooky stream. Woohoo!